Welcome to the course Digital Innovation in Sports, and this video that will provide an introduction to several of the topics that we will focus on in the course. We have a main message that we are trying to convey in this course, and that is that all aspects of sports and sport performance will be subject to new digital innovations. And that means that we need to look into and see that these innovations are not a threat to the integrity in different sports, but we also need to really help the sports community and the sport industry to push the boundaries of what is possible. On the left-hand side here is an example from one of the students' projects we've been running, and it's all about running in virtual reality. I'm going to play that video for a few seconds just in order for you to see how that experience might look like. And what is evident here is that running in VR is a fairly new experience, even for an experienced runner as for Jonathan here. And we have some safety precautions in order for him not to fall off the treadmill. But let's look at something more close. Football. Football is one of the big and perhaps the biggest sport in the world. And here we can see how digital innovations have changed football. It has done a lot of good things to football in order to improve how we as fans can experience football, and the insights from these analyses has also helped football to evolve. Here, companies such as StatBomb and others have played an important role in the datafication of football, namely turning football into numbers. And when we have those numbers, we can do very important and exciting analysis. It could be performance analysis, or it can be tactical analysis of what is happening on the field. We will look into this a bit further on in a section on performance analysis, but also in a specific topic on game analysis. Another example is in running, and here many of us can relate to apps such as Runkeeper, or we have a Sport Watch and so on. And when we run, we tend to like to collect the data from our different sessions. And if our Sport Watch, for example, has not enough battery, then we get a bit frustrated, since datafication of running sessions is important. We want to collect the data and also upload it into these global platforms such as Strava in order to share our performance, and also getting feedback back from the community that follow us on these platforms. But what is important here is, yet again, the datafication of running. By bringing the very running activity into numbers is opening up a whole innovation space around running. Just an example here. Yet another example is when we make use of the data and the data capabilities and the digital capabilities we have in sport and sport equipment. We see an example here on hybrid sport with a connected bike. So you do the physical activity on your bike, but that physical activity is manifested in the virtual world. And we can also see how gym companies, here's a company from Sweden, is allowing their customers to train from home, but still be connected and having a digital relationship with the company via their online platform. We also see an exciting examples with Queen's League on the right-hand side here, where a combination of sports but also gaming logics are combined and has developed football into a more action-oriented activity. Hopefully we will look into the Queen's League a bit more, but have a look at it and keep in mind that Queen's League and also King's League for men are interesting aspects of the development in football. Digital innovations is also changing the roles and the role for coaching and coaches. So how we do the coaching these days are changing due to the use of digital innovations. Here we see an example of how one of the important aspects of being a football player is not only to be able to run and be very successful on the field, but you also need to sit down and be able to watch football, talk about tactics and so on. So that has changed what it means to be a football player. And as you can see on the photo with the coach with the headset, also the connected coach and the connectivity that coaches has access to has changed their roles. And in this course we're going to look into some research that is detailing out what this development might lead to and what to look out for when this development is happening. The GPS is one of the great examples of important technology that has changed and affected and supported and enhanced so many aspects of different sports. From the beginning in the running community, we had a GPS device basically that has over time transformed into a sport watch, and nowadays is a very sleek and nice sport watch. But as we can see in football, for example, we have these GPS vests, and it's all about collecting data that we can make use of in analysis and further development. Basically, we can analyze it, we can process it, and we can make that data a very important and valuable material. An example, in addition to the GPS, is the power meter in cycling. Being able to measure power has been very important and is still extremely important in cycling, of course. Hopefully we are going to talk to a cycling coach, a trainer, who really knows the importance of being able to measure power in very detailed way. So it's about the performance analysis, but it's also about making available this sport in new ways. So for example, with the use of power meters and the connected bicycle, it has also enabled companies such as Swift to develop and provide totally new cycling platforms and cycling environments for the cycling community. So the invention of the power meter has affected the possibility to analyze cycling from a performance point of view, but has also enabled the cycling community to provide new types of cycling activities, such as cycling in a virtual world. Video is yet another important type of technology. Here we see on the left-hand side video analysis regarding running. So we see an individual on a treadmill, and by using video we can create different type of analysis in order to analyze the efficiency and also perhaps the problems that the runner is facing when running. On the right hand side we see examples from the Swedish company Speedeo and their AI powered camera, and it's used not only for streaming football, handball and floorball events, but also providing data, collecting data for game analysis and video analysis of games. So video is also an important technology that in different forms are used for several different purposes in different sports. We also have a lot of platforms, so it's not only about collecting the data or analyzing the data, it's also about orchestrating the data and making the data, put the data in different context in order to enhance the value of the data. And digital platforms are very suitable for that in order to, since we connect different user groups by using digital platforms. And we can use these digital platforms for a range of activities, and I'm going to show a few of them. So we have the platforms for performance analysis, and this means that we have lots of data uploaded on the platform, and different type of user groups, different types of expertise can make use of the data. So the data becomes valuable from different perspectives. And obviously those who are in charge of those platforms, the platform provider, the platform owner and so on, they become they end up in a quite important position that can also create some sort of monopoly position in a market if the platform becomes extremely popular. And we see some examples here from football, but also from the endurance world here with the Training Peaks, for example. Also Strava, to many extents, are an important platform that is dominating its market segment in endurance sports. We have also platforms for regarding race participation. Here it's an example from the Swedish company Race ID, which is almost like a portal to different type of race events. And for the endurance athlete, these platforms become extremely important in order to be able to attend, to register, and being aware of different endurance races. We also have platforms for transfer and trade of players, and this is of course relevant in the big sports like baseball, hockey, football, soccer, and so on. And here is an example from Elite Sports, Elite Prospects, which is a data platform regarding statistics in the ice hockey community. And that type of statistics are important from a transfer perspective, the trades and the recruitment that is done. In addition, we see also platforms for ranking, and here we have two examples of platforms, ranking platforms. We have on the right-hand side here a platform that is providing lots of statistics from the golf community and the world of golf, basically. And on the left-hand side, we see some ranking on the ultra distance runners. And in this example here, it's also from the specific community around UTMB, which is a commercial enterprise these days on ultra trail running. These two examples are good illustrations of the importance of platforms that make available statistics regarding the ranking of athletes and players. Fan engagement is yet another area where we see lots and lots of development these days. Here is an example from the Swedish company Forza Clubs that is providing new possibilities for sport clubs in order to connect to fans and create fan engagement in totally new ways. So we see lots of different platforms here in order to enhance the value and capture the value that can be found around fan and fan engagement. Here we have yet another type of platforms. Here it's more about organizing for example, dealing with the organization in a club or managing a race, for example. On the right-hand side, we see a screenshot from Sports Admin that is used in many of the sport clubs in Sweden. And on the left-hand side, we see an example yet again from Race ID, and it's all about managing the races. So if you're organizing an endurance race, for example in running, then there are platforms also available in order to support the organizers and connect different type of actors in order to help out in the organization of, for example, endurance races. But what is also important to realize here is that all the design of these new possibilities, it happens in a context. And for us, it's important to emphasize that great ideas, they grow in a supporting ecosystem. Here, Sporttech Sweden, for example, is super important in order to facilitate, to inspire, to promote, and also provide connection between different type of actors in order to make it possible for innovations to grow from small ideas into global platforms and global companies. Also, of course, we have the context of the universities are also an environment that can inspire and also support companies when they are trying to grow and scale. All great ideas are dependent on a supporting environment, and we're going to pay some attention to this dimension when we talk about digital innovation, especially from a sport tech perspective. Okay, I've been talking a lot now on the different aspects here. So what's the key message? The key message is that digital innovations will support, enhance, and change, disrupt how sports are performed, organized, and consumed. You remember the message from the beginning that all aspects of sport will have some sort of digital component in one way or the other. And adding digital material to any sport practice, any type of sport activity, will result in a range of possibilities. In this course, we are actually having the perspective and trying to emphasize the perspective that digital technology is a disrupting athletic material. Because what happen, we digitalize, when we innovate around digital technology, when we create new digital properties around sport activities, that may basically mean that all aspects in a variety of sport activities will generate tons and tons of data. And the collection of data will become much faster in the future. It will be more accurate, and we can also collect more details. And this will happen in all aspects of sports. As a consequence, new digital sport platforms will be able to capitalize on such data and become increasingly powerful. This means that all actors, basically in the sports domain, they need to learn, and we need to learn how to make use of digital technologies in new ways. And we do it in order to improve how sport is performed, organized, and consumed. With this, I would like to end this introduction, and I hope that you got some sort of a glimpse of what we're trying to communicate in this course and what we're going to cover in the different themes. Thank you so much for listening.